Over its 28-year history, LUNAR's been involved in a lot of prominent projects, and we're extremely proud of that work. But for Jeff and me, the design of LUNAR itself is our greatest achievement. Since I was a kid, I always liked to build things and wanted to be an architect since I was 8 years old. My first architecture professor at USC was Bob Inlow. He was actually an industrial designer. He exposed us to the concept of mass production. I was really fascinated by that and decided to go back to school and study industrial design. Never regretted it.
I remember when Gerard showed me some of his first product designs. I was just stunned at how beautiful they were. So sculptural, clever, a direction that nobody else in the class went into.
Gerard, in my mind, was so inspirational at a time when, for me, I was just worried about how to graduate. And Gerard was relaxed and had a sense of humor. He kind of got everybody to relax, have a good time, enjoy the moment. And I really appreciate that. I think it was a good lesson to learn.
There's some testing of the waters early in Gerard's early experience at GVO and at Interform. But very quickly, I think he and Jeff Smith and Bob Bruner came to an understanding of what kind of a company they wanted to be.
I think it is fair to say that there are three companies that really defined the landscape of design in the Bay Area, and they would be the company that is now known as IDEO, Frog Design, and LUNAR, which was formed in 1984, at which time there was nothing that I would begin to call a regional design culture yet. So they were literally in on the ground floor and the founding generation of what became the major design industry worldwide. So their impact, it's been really quite extraordinary.
We started in design where design was styling. Then engineering became integrated. That served us well from a business standpoint because the first two projects, the DroidWorks and Zentel, were probably 2/3 engineering. So those were great projects to kick the place off with. And we wouldn't have been able to get that without the integrated approach to what we were doing.
I think it's Gerard's presence. It's to his credit that we do have such a strong engineering capability today, because that was really where he excelled, was in taking a design vision and figuring out how to engineer it, how to design the parts, and how to get it manufactured.
And that helped them land highly technical projects with DroidWorks, the Velo handheld communicator for Philips, for Silicon Graphics, a workstation. And these are really category-defining products which are not about exterior styling.
We also, along the way, of course, wanted to get into Apple. The first very important product was the LC computer, which was part of a family of computers that were very slim desktop computers. Apple got a lot of positive press in association with that. And it was soon after that, I believe, that Apple recruited our partner Bob Bruner to come be the director of design at Apple. Well, that turned out to be a great thing for LUNAR because Bob became a fantastic client, and then we went on and did many, many products for Apple over many, many years. One of the most noteworthy products that we did was the Apple PowerBook 100 laptop, which was the darling of the first laptops that Apple created, and that was a big win for Apple. I think our biggest impact was being one of the 2 or 3 key partners with Apple at the time that they began to really proliferate and leverage the use of design as a strategic capability of the company.
A lot of our work is in medtech. There are a couple of big systems that we designed that are really the future of medicine. And one is the Intuitive Surgical Da Vinci system, which was technology developed by DARPA that was originally going to enable surgeons to be at a distance from the people that they were operating on. It employs minimally invasive surgical techniques that are driven by robots. The surgeon gets to sit down in a comfortable chair, gets to drive those robots through some very, very advanced technology. So that's just fantastic. And the other one is the Accuray CyberKnife, which is a linear accelerator that's mounted on the end of a 12-foot high robot. The innovation in the CyberKnife is that it moves around and shoots at the cancer from all kinds of different directions, so the surrounding tissue only gets a partial dose when the cancer gets a huge dose. and the system actually can see you breathing and it adjusts the movement. Yeah, it's amazing to watch this giant machine sort of breathing with you. But the advantage to the patient is that they're in treatment about half as long as they would normally be, and they don't have to hold their breath. We've done a lot of new technology, even down to Provent, I think is one of my favorite. The Ventus Provent sleep apnea therapy is so simple.
I had this vision of a simple device that you could put on your nose that would create pressure, and that pressure would treat sleep apnea and treat snoring. We were highly reliant on LUNAR to create a good valving system that could be reproduced in large-scale manufacturing, as well as to understanding the needs of the user, as well as creating packaging as well that would be relevant for our device. And in some ways, the future of the company really rode on LUNAR being successful. It's been a fantastic 4 or 5 year experience with LUNAR. It started off as a pro bono kind of project that they took on for pure goodwill, and it's blossomed into a multi-year association which has spanned 2 or 3 different products, which have won some of the best awards. But at the end of the day, if it weren't for that goodwill offered up by LUNAR back in 2005, I don't think the patients or the doctors would have this great set of devices.
One thing we've always been interested in is how, in addition to doing what we love to do, which is design, is to participate in the success of what we design.
I remember talking to Gerard about how hard it was to be paid by the hour and making millions of dollars for big companies, and very much wanted to do something entrepreneurial on our own. We would identify a set of product opportunities that we could pursue in an entrepreneurial venture. The opportunity that bubbled up to the top was for an adult kick scooter. LUNAR was invaluable in creating the scooter, from identifying the raw idea through to commercializing that product. LUNAR's specific contributions were the industrial design of that product and also the graphic design and identity. These were the same people who were designing products for Apple, Hewlett-Packard, and Motorola, and they were designing our scooter.
LUNAR and Lucky Litter have a unique arrangement that allows both companies to share in each other's success. LUNAR is able to share in the success of the Frolicat products, and Lucky Litter is able to share in the benefits of LUNAR's design services that we may not have been able to accommodate or afford with a traditional billing arrangement. LUNAR is thinking ahead to what else can be done to increase the success of these products. So that's led to developing a complementary family of products. It's led to enhanced merchandising materials. And the more successful we are, the more successful LUNAR is.
Switch was started about 4.5, 5 years ago by a group of 5 people who had expertise in various areas of lighting. They had the thought to take LEDs and use them in a regular light bulb. We were looking for a design firm that would help us turn this light bulb into something that both commercial and industrial and consumers would want. It lasts a lot longer, 25 times as long as a standard incandescent, and only uses 20% as much energy. We now needed a design that was absolutely stunning. LUNAR came out as the clear winner, to take a product and not only make it look good and produce 1 or 2 or 3, but to make it look good, well designed for manufacturability so that we could produce millions at the lowest cost possible. This is the jewel that LUNAR helped us come up with, and this represents 75 watt equivalent or 1100 lumens of light. You can see the vertical fins here and LED on each one of the vertical fins. So this is the light bulb that LUNAR has helped us develop for the marketplace. Our goal is to have no part of the light bulb go to a landfill. We want the light bulb back. We can recycle almost every part of that light bulb.
Most product designers are aware of the environmental condition and the fact that we're taking raw materials, oil, and turning it into products, and then we're burying it back in the ground again. We said, well, this is really everybody's problem. Let's see how we can make this a broader collaborative effort. I would give a lot of credit to Gerard for this endeavor because of his own passion about it, because of his own concern about it. We formalized it under the name Alumnus, and we put together the a designer's field guide for sustainability. And we put it out in the world and said, here, students and young designers, start thinking about this stuff and tell us what else we should include in this. It's really all about the small steps that all of us need to be taking when we can.
LUNAR has been successful for 30 years, picking up the phone, doing good work and picking up the phone. That's going to continue to work. Design, however, is a big opportunity space today.
We want to be bigger but better. And so today we've done that by growing pretty organically. Each of the satellite offices was started by somebody that we know very well.
When we thought about the brand that was LUNAR, and when we thought about how I might bring that to the Chicago area, what we didn't know is how people would respond. Our growth in the first year has been triple what our expectation was. And I think the more success that we have in another area, in this case Chicago, the more it builds that model for expanding the LUNAR brand into different areas.
Our office in China will grow, our presence in Europe will grow, and our presence in the United States will grow. And there's the rest of the world also.
Building everything you design is unique and sole, and it doesn't repeat itself. But product design, it's intended to repeat many times. Both of them is intended to solve problems. Among the industrial designer, he plays a role of architect and really threaded the process together. I'm glad to see someone take it in a different world.
Gerard is amazing with his food bank work. It's testament to who he is, and it goes back to his humility and his tenacity. That's filtered through into our culture for sure.
I've been doing this 24 years. Over that time, I estimate probably 20,000 bags, about 500,000 or 600,000 pounds of groceries. Someday I'll need to get an 18-wheeler.
Thank you, thank you. How nice of you.
You too.
It's one of the best people I know.
The company was founded in 1984. We're now in 2012. This is an astonishing track record for a company of this sort, which has been in the process of continually inventing and reinventing itself.
It's an amazing legacy, and it's the kind of foundation work that Gerard's always invested himself in that will allow the firm to live on for decades and decades.
It's an ongoing experiment. It's not a fixed model. And it's really to the credit of these guys that they not only built a successful company that is in business 30-some years later, but they also were major contributors to both an internal community at LUNAR. If you spend any time there, you really feel it. I mean, people are, they're good people, and they like each other, and they're happy to be there, and they're proud of what they are doing and what they have done. And how many of us can really say that? But also the fact that they were, I think it's fair to say, present at the creation. If you would ask me what's the coolest thing that LUNAR has designed, well, I like the Velo, and I'm astounded by the Da Vinci surgical robot and the silicon graphics machine. I think their greatest design is LUNAR design.